You posted the photo. Cleavage, leg out, body flawless. 347 likes in 20 minutes. But your phone has been silent for 3 days. He called you hot in the DMs. Set up a date. You had sex. And then, ghosting. You know this script by heart. Quick attention, easy sex, guaranteed disappearance. It's always the same shit with different men, and you keep wearing the same armor. You know what nobody tells you? That short outfit isn't protecting you. It's selling you in the wrong market. You became a shelf product. Many people grab it. Nobody takes it home. You were 16 when you discovered it. The body draws more attention than personality. Showing skin is faster than showing soul. And you chose the shortcut. But shortcut to what? To be desired by men who don't respect you? To compete with other women in the same empty game? To wake up alone after being used again? Here's the truth. You don't dress like this because you like it. You dress like this because you're afraid. Afraid of being invisible, of not being enough, of not being chosen. So you offer your body because you learned that it works. For 48 hours, then comes the emptiness, his silence, and the scream inside you. Here's what you haven't understood yet. As long as you sell yourself as desire, you'll never be bought as love. And worse, the men who would actually love you are running away because they think you don't want to be loved. You just want to be fucked. Why the hell do you keep attracting exactly the type of man you say you don't want anymore? This has a name. Erich Fromm called it marketing love. You turned love into a commercial transaction, and your body became the currency. Fromm studied how modern society destroys true love. He realized something brutal. We learned to sell ourselves like products in a window display. You do exactly that. You invest in gym, makeup, clothes, filters, all to increase your market value. But merchandise has an expiration date, and you know it. Look at the raw truth. You're not seeking love, you're seeking approval, and you confused the two a long time ago. When you were a child, something taught you this. Maybe your father looked at other women more than at your mother. Maybe you saw your mother competing, diminishing herself, offering herself. Maybe you were ignored when you were just you, but noticed when you became hot. There you learned the wrong lesson. My body is worth more than my essence. Being sexy is safer than being vulnerable. Desire comes fast, love takes too long, and might never come. Fromm said this creates a vicious cycle. The more you sell yourself, the more you attract buyers, not lovers. The more you use your body as bait, the more you attract predators, not partners. And the more this happens, the more you believe the problem is you, when actually it's the strategy. You became an expert in seduction, but you never learned to be loved, because true love doesn't start with desire. It starts with vulnerability, authenticity, imperfection. You know what's worst? You're afraid to take off this outfit, not the physical outfit, the emotional one. Because if you show up for real, no filter, no game, no perfect body, what if still nobody stays? Then you can't blame the clothes. Then you'd have to face the real wound, the feeling that you, just you, aren't enough. But here's what Fromm discovered. As long as you don't face this fear, as long as you keep offering yourself as an object of desire, you'll keep attracting men who want objects, not men who want people. And the man who would truly love you, he's waiting for you to stop selling yourself, because he doesn't want to buy anything. He wants to know someone. Have you noticed the pattern yet? New man, same story. He wants you fast, uses you, and discards you. And you swear this time will be different, but it never is, because you're not choosing different men. You're repeating the same wound. With different faces, psychology calls this repetition compulsion. You unconsciously recreate the same pain, because deep down, you're trying to solve something that was never solved back then. Think with me. When was the first time you felt invisible? When was the first time you needed to do something to be noticed? When was the first time you realized your body had more value than your voice? Maybe it was with your father, who barely looked at you, but looked at other women. You learned, I need to be sexy to be seen. And since then, you've been trying to prove it, to him, to yourself, to everyone. Maybe it was the first boyfriend, who used you, threw you away, and you begged him to come back. You learned, I need to offer more, be more available, easier. And since then, you lower the price so you won't be rejected again. Maybe it was in adolescence, when the hot girls had attention, boyfriends, popularity. And you, shy, were invisible. You learned, I need to compete with my body because in personality, I lose. Here's the brutal truth. You're not wearing short clothes because you like it. You're wearing them because you're still trying to heal that girl, the one who felt rejected, ignored, insufficient. And you think if you're desired enough, the pain will stop, but it doesn't stop. Because desire doesn't heal rejection. Desire only anesthetizes. For a few hours you feel powerful, wanted, validated. And then comes his silence and the voice inside you. See? Not even being hot makes you enough. So what do? You expose yourself more. Shorter clothes, more provocative photos, greater availability. You lower the price thinking it increases the value. And men notice. They sense you're desperate. That you're offering yourself, not presenting yourself. And you know what men do with things that offer themselves for free? They take, they use, and they discard. Because they didn't pay anything for it, so it's worth nothing. Here's the invisible pattern you repeat. You attract emotionally unavailable men because you yourself are emotionally unavailable. You offer body because you're afraid to offer soul. You choose men who don't choose you back because deep down, you don't believe you deserve to be chosen. So you protect yourself by choosing men who confirm this. You dress to seduce, but seduction is defense, not surrender. It's control, not vulnerability. It's you saying, I decide when you want me, but never, I trust you'll stay. And you know why you don't trust? Because nobody stayed before. And every time you offered yourself for real, soul, not body, you were rejected. So you created armor, the perfect body, the short clothes, the seduction game. But here's the cruel irony. The armor you use to protect yourself from rejection is exactly what guarantees you'll be rejected. Because love doesn't penetrate armor. Love needs skin, soul, truth. And as long as you're hiding behind your body, you'll never know if someone would truly love you. Because you never showed yourself truly. If you're feeling a tightness in your chest right now, it's because something inside you recognized this truth. You're not alone in this pain. Thousands of women are living exactly what you're living, trapped in the same cycle, repeating the same mistakes, attracting the same wrong men. This channel exists to help you see the invisible patterns that trap you and show you the way out of this emotional trap. Click the button right now and subscribe, because every video here is a liberation tool that will help you understand the pain, heal the wound, and finally attract the love you deserve. Don't let this moment of clarity pass. Your transformation begins when you decide to stop repeating and start healing. Have you noticed how you're always tired? It's not physical tiredness. It's emotional exhaustion. It's the weight of maintaining a constant performance, of always being ready, always available, always sexy. You wake up thinking about how you'll present yourself today, which outfit will draw more attention, which photo will generate more likes. And at the end of the day, when you lie in bed alone, that question comes, what for? Because deep down, you know the truth. No like fills the void. No midnight compliment heals the loneliness. No "you're hot" replaces a "you're amazing." You collect attention as if it were love, but attention evaporates, and you're left empty-handed again. It's like drinking salt water. The more you drink, the thirstier you get. And worst of all, you lost yourself in this process. You don't even know who you are anymore without the clothes, without the makeup, without the seduction game. Your identity became your body, and your body became a product. You forgot you have a mind, soul, depth, gifts, dreams. You reduced yourself to curves and cleavage because you learned that's what has value. But deep down, a voice screams, I am more than this. But you're afraid to be more than this. Because more than this means vulnerability. It means showing your insecurities, your wounds, your imperfections. It means risking being rejected, not for your body, but for the person you really are. And that rejection hurts more. Because if he rejects you for who you are, then there's no excuse, no defense, no armor. So you continue in the cycle. You attract men who want your body, not your soul. Men who use you and disappear, make you feel powerful for one night and empty in the morning. Men who never ask, how are you? But always ask, where are the photos? And each time this happens, the wound gets deeper. The feeling of, I'm not enough, gets stronger. You start to believe the problem is you. Maybe I'm not pretty enough, So you work out more, get more procedures, buy more expensive clothes, take more provocative photos. Maybe I'm not interesting enough. So you pretend to be cooler, more liberal, more chill. You mold yourself, adapt yourself, deform yourself, but it's never enough because you're competing in a game that has no winners. And you know what's the cruelest consequence of this pattern? You start to hate yourself. You look in the mirror and see a body that attracts, but doesn't hold anyone. You see a woman everyone wants, but nobody loves. You see someone who became an expert at being desired, but forgot how to be loved. And then comes the deepest loneliness of all, the loneliness of being surrounded by people, but completely alone inside. Here's the real cost of this pattern. You traded your soul for temporary attention. You sold your essence for cheap validation. You sacrificed the possibility of true love on the altar of quick desire. And now you're trapped in an emotional trap where the more you expose yourself, the less you're seen. The more you offer yourself, the less you're valued. The more you try to be desired, the further you get from being loved. You've tried everything, haven't you? You've tried dressing more modestly for a few weeks, but felt invisible and went back to the cleavage. You've tried valuing yourself, replying later, playing games, but the guy disappeared anyway. You've tried being more demanding, more difficult, more mysterious, but in the end, when he insisted, you gave in again. Nothing works because you're trying to change the strategy without changing the wound. You think the problem is the tactic. If I change the clothes, it'll work. If I make him chase me, it'll work. If I'm more interesting, prettier, more perfect, it'll work. But it won't, because you don't need a new strategy. You need a new belief, the belief that you're already enough, without needing to prove anything. Loving more doesn't solve it. You've already loved too much and been discarded. Giving more doesn't solve it. You've already given yourself completely and been used. Closing off doesn't solve it. You've already tried to protect yourself and ended up alone anyway. The problem isn't how much you love, give, or protect yourself. The problem is you're seeking outside what can only be healed inside. You look in his eyes for the validation you can't give yourself. You seek in his body the hug you never gave the wounded girl inside you. You wait for him to choose you because you never truly chose yourself. And as long as you depend on someone outside to complete you, you'll remain incomplete. The false solution is trying to be more desirable. The true solution is to stop seeking to be desired and start seeking to be whole. The false solution is competing with other women in the seduction game. The true solution is to leave the game completely. The false solution is finding the right man. The true solution is becoming the right woman for yourself. As long as you don't heal the wound that made you believe your body is worth more than your soul, you'll repeat the pattern. As long as you don't forgive the girl who learned to sell herself to be loved, you'll sell yourself again. As long as you don't face the fear of being rejected for who you really are, you'll keep pretending to be who you think others want. Now comes the part nobody tells you. Healing isn't comfortable. Healing hurts more than the wound sometimes, because it means dismantling everything you built to protect yourself. It means taking off the armor and being exposed, but this time, exposed to yourself, not to others. It means looking in the mirror and recognizing, I lost myself trying to be desired. The first healing action is radical and scary. Stop seeking external validation for 90 days. That's right. 3 months without posting provocative photos, without seeking male attention, without measuring your worth by likes or messages you receive. Sounds impossible? It's because you're addicted to validation like a drug addict is addicted to drugs. The withdrawal will hurt, will make you anxious, will make you feel invisible. And that's exactly where healing begins. In these 90 days, you'll reconnect with who you are without an audience. You'll discover your real tastes, not the tastes that generate engagement. You'll dress for your comfort, not for looks. You'll go out without taking photos, will live without proving anything to anyone. And at first, it'll feel like you're dying, because the persona you created is actually dying. But who you really are is finally breathing. The second healing action is even deeper. Write a letter to the girl you were when you learned that your body was worth more than your soul. Find a photo of yourself from that time, at 14, 15, 16 years old, when you started selling yourself. Look at her. See the innocence still in her eyes, see the wound starting to form, and write everything you wish someone had told her at that moment. Tell her, you don't need to show your body to be loved. Say, your value isn't in your appearance. Say, the men who ignore you now don't define your future. Say, you deserve to be chosen for who you are, not for what you offer. And after writing, read it out loud, because you need to hear from yourself what nobody told you. You need to be the mother, the sister, the friend that girl never had. This letter isn't just a therapeutic exercise. It's a forgiveness ritual. You're forgiving that girl for doing the best she could with the tools she had. She didn't know that selling herself would be so expensive. She didn't know that seeking validation would be so empty. She just wanted to be loved and did what she learned. Now, you as an adult can teach her another way. And here's the secret psychology discovered. When you heal the wounded girl inside you, you stop attracting men who hurt. Because you stop vibrating at the frequency of neediness. You stop accepting crumbs because you know you deserve the feast. You stop offering yourself because you understand that whoever truly loves you doesn't need an offer, needs a meeting, person to person, soul to soul. These two actions, the validation fast and forgiveness to the wounded girl, will take you out of your comfort zone, will make you question everything you believed about love, worth, and relationships, will make you feel alone in a different way. No longer the desperate loneliness of someone seeking someone to fill the void, but the necessary solitude of someone who is finally finding themselves. And it's in this solitude that the miracle happens. You discover you were always enough. Hey, if you got distracted, stop everything now and pay attention to this, because this is the most important part of everything you're going to hear today. You think God doesn't see you? You think He's distant, judging, condemning you for every short outfit, for every mistake, for every night you lost yourself? The truth is very different. God has always been there, waiting for you to get tired of searching in the wrong places. He saw every hidden tear after the guy disappeared. He heard every silent prayer asking to be truly loved. He felt every time you offered yourself thinking it was love, but it was just disguised desperation. And you know what He's saying now? Daughter, you don't need to sell yourself anymore. You never needed to. The Bible says in Proverbs 31:30, charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. This isn't condemnation, it's liberation. God is telling you that you placed all your value in something that ages, that fades, that changes. But He sees in you something that never ages, your soul. That soul you hid behind your body, that essence you silenced because you were afraid it wasn't enough. That girl inside you who just wanted to be hugged, not touched. God saw her all along, and He doesn't want your perfect body, your sexy performance, your social media validation. He wants you, the real you, wounded, tired, lost. Because it's only there in brokenness that healing begins. The Word also says in 1 Peter 3:4, your beauty should not come from outward adornment, such as elaborate hairstyles and the wearing of gold jewelry or fine clothes. Rather, it should be that of your inner self, the unfading beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is of great worth in God's sight. Did you read that? Of great worth in God's sight, not precious in the eyes of men who use you, not precious in Instagram likes, precious before the one who created you, who knows exactly who you are when you take off all the makeup, all the clothes, all the masks. You know why you're so afraid to be yourself? Because you've never experienced being loved like that. Raw, real, imperfect. But God loves you exactly like that. He doesn't need you to be sexy, interesting, perfect, or easy. He just needs you to be honest. For you to come before Him and say, I got lost. I don't know who I am anymore. I'm tired of pretending. Teach me again who I am. And there, in that surrender, something changes. Because when you understand that God loves you without performance, you stop performing for men. When you understand that your value comes from being His daughter, not from being desired by them, you change frequency. You stop accepting any crumbs because you know you're an heir to a kingdom. You stop selling yourself cheap because you understand you were bought at a high price, the blood of Christ. You're not a product, you're a promise. And here's the spiritual twist that changes everything. That pain you felt every time you were used and discarded, it wasn't punishment, it was redirection. God was closing doors that would destroy you to open the door that would restore you. Every man who disappeared wasn't rejection, It was protection. Because if he had stayed, you would never have arrived here, at this moment of awareness, ready to truly find yourself. God didn't take love from you. He took you out of relationships that sold you illusion instead of truth. He broke the cycle you couldn't break alone. And now, he's offering you something no man can give. The certainty that you're loved not for what you offer, but for what you are. And when you finally accept that, when you truly believe you're loved by God without needing to deserve it, you'll attract men who love you the same way. Because you only attract what you believe you deserve. You made it here. And if you're feeling a tightness in your chest, it's because something inside you recognized the truth. The short clothes were never the problem. They were just the symptom. The problem was the wound that made you believe you only had value if you were desired. But now you know. Desire isn't love. Attention isn't choice. And selling yourself doesn't make you bought. It makes you discarded. The good news? You can change this. Now. Psychology showed you the pattern. You repeat what you haven't healed. You attract unavailable men because you yourself are emotionally unavailable. You offer yourself because you're afraid to truly surrender. But knowing the pattern is just the first step. The second is breaking it. And that requires courage. Courage to stop seeking external validation. Courage to forgive the girl you were. Courage to believe you're enough without needing to prove anything. And spirituality showed you the purpose. God never wanted you to sell yourself. He always wanted you to find yourself. Every closed door, every man who disappeared, every night alone. It wasn't rejection, it was redirection. God was protecting you from relationships that would destroy you and preparing you for a love that would build you up. But that love only comes when you stop accepting what's worthless. When you understand you were bought at too high a price to sell yourself cheap, now you have a choice. Continue in the cycle. Short clothes, empty attention, men who use and disappear, loneliness disguised as likes. Or leave it. Heal the wound, forgive the past, reconnect with who you really are. The first option is easier at first, but destroys you in the end. The second option hurts at first, but frees you in the end. Which do you choose? If you choose healing, know this: it won't be quick, it won't be linear. You'll have relapses, you'll feel like going back to the game, you'll be afraid of being invisible without the armor. But every day you resist, every day you choose your soul instead of your body, every day you say no to crumbs, you're rebuilding yourself. And one day you'll look in the mirror and recognize the woman who was always there, waiting to be seen, by yourself. And when that happens, something magical will occur. You'll stop attracting men who want you and start attracting men who choose you. Because you changed frequency. You no longer vibrate in neediness. You vibrate in wholeness. You no longer offer body. You offer presence. You no longer seek to be desired. You seek to be known. And the men who truly love, those you always wanted but thought would never come, they feel it. They feel you're different. Not because you're perfect, but because you're real. The loneliness doesn't disappear overnight, but it transforms. It stops being that desperate loneliness of someone seeking someone to fill the void and becomes the necessary solitude of someone who is finding themselves. And in that solitude, you discover something revolutionary. You were always enough. You never needed the short clothes, the likes, the male validation. You always had value. You just forgot it when you learned to sell yourself. Now you're relearning to know yourself, and knowing yourself is coming home. So take a deep breath. Look at the girl you were, the one who learned wrong, who got hurt trying to be loved, who got lost along the way, and tell her, I forgive you, and now I'm going to protect you. I'll never sell you again. I'll never offer you for crumbs again. You deserve the feast, and I'll wait for it, even if it takes time, because I finally understood. I can change my destiny, and the first step is to stop repeating my past. If this message made sense to you, if you felt every word touch your wound, then you need to subscribe right now to our channel. Because this video wasn't an accident. It was God bringing you here to show you that you're not alone in this pain, and that there's a path to healing. Every video on this channel is a liberation tool that will help you understand your patterns, heal your wounds, and finally attract the love you always deserved. Click the subscribe button now. Your transformation has already begun. For you who made it to the end of this video, I want to make a special invitation. Write in the comments, I choose to heal. Just these 4 words. Because when you declare this publicly, something spiritual happens. You're making a covenant with God and with yourself that you'll leave this cycle. And here's my promise to you. God will honor that decision. He'll give you strength in moments of weakness, will close the wrong doors and open the doors that will lead you to true love. Right now, I choose to heal, and watch how your life begins to change.